This is a movie that fans had to wait a full 7 years for its release, because in the finale of the last season of Breaking Bad, everyone had their ultimate ending, except for Jesse, who escaped from the cage and disappeared. This movie also provides a satisfying conclusion to Jesse's unfinished story. At the same time, it is a farewell letter from the director to the fans, signifying that there will be no more stories for Breaking Bad. The story begins with a conversation between Jesse and Mike by the river. The timeline takes place after they completed the methylamine heist. After the accidental killing of an innocent boy, Walter and Jesse had a moral disagreement, and Jesse and Mike plan to leave. Jesse asks Mike where he would go after getting his retirement money, and Mike answers the last frontier, Alaska. The whole film is also about this destination, telling how Jesse overcame all the difficulties after escaping to go to the Holy Land in his heart that Mike recommended to him. Remember the license plate on Walter's car during his revenge journey? It read "Live Free or Die." Not only was it the title of the first episode of the 5th season, but it also hinted at the fates of Walter and Jesse. The deserving Walter chose self-redemption, while seeking revenge. He also gave Jesse the freedom he longed for. The inherently good-hearted Jesse chose to reform and embarked on a new path in life. Having just escaped from captivity, Jesse sees police cars approaching from the opposite direction. He hurriedly pulls into someone's yard, turns off the engine, and lies low on the seat. Jesse also familiarly pulls out a pistol from the passenger compartment, a detail that will be shown later in the episode. After evading the police, Jesse first goes to his buddy Skinny's place. At this time, Skinny is playing video games with Badger. Skinny almost doesn't recognize the disheveled Jesse at first, but they quickly hide Jesse's car. Starving for days, Jesse wolfs down some food and then falls into a deep sleep. The next day, Skinny and Badger see the explosive news about the gang shooting on TV, and they also learn that a fugitive suspect is being pursued by the police. Clearly, the fugitive suspect refers to Jesse. Jesse, traumatized from prolonged captivity, is extremely paranoid. As he wakes up, he looks at the ceiling, thinking he is still in the dungeon. The terrified Jesse hastily gets up, trying to escape. Noticing the commotion, Skinny and Badger rush to check, almost getting shot by the frantic Jesse. Once Jesse calms down, Skinny finds him some fitting clothes and tells him to take a hot shower. Feeling unsafe, Jesse even brings a gun into the shower. As he showers, he recalls being hosed down by Todd and others with a high-pressure water gun. Jesse's body is covered with scars from the torture he endured, and each shot makes the audience visualize the abuse he suffered. After washing up and shaving his head and beard, Jesse finally starts to regain his spirit. He asks Skinny for a disposable phone and calls Old Joe from the junkyard to help him dispose of the car he drove. Although Old Joe had seen the news that Jesse was wanted, he did not report him. Instead, he offered Jesse his help for free. Everyone was impressed by Old Joe's righteousness. However, in the next moment, when Old Joe discovers that the car's tracking system has been activated, he runs away in fear.
Jack. The company just activated, just this minute. Talk about timing. Look, Johnny Law is on his way, as in here, as in now. So farewell, goodbye, regrets, etc., etc.
Seeing that the police are about to arrive, Jesse quickly grabs the keys and prepares to drive away. At the crucial moment, Skinny suddenly mentioned a brilliant idea. Skinny tells Badger to drive his own car to the Mexican border and then has Jesse take Badger's car to escape. Skinny stays home to wait for the police. He plans to tell them that Jesse did come by, but he didn't know Jesse was a fugitive. After the two of them caught up, Jesse offered to trade vehicles with him. Furthermore, the Chevrolet El Camino is Skinny's dream car, so he could even pass a lie detector test. This way, the police will chase Skinny's car and won't find Jesse. Skinny and Badger give all the cash they have to Jesse. Before Jesse leaves, Skinny gives him the hat he has worn for 5 years, to help disguise his appearance and avoid being recognized by the police. If you don't believe me, you can watch the 4th episode of the 1st season. When Skinny first appeared in the scene, he wore this hat. Considering the filming timeline, this hat has been around for 12 years.
Yo, Skinny. Why are you doing all this? Dude, you're my hero.
It's worth noting that this Chevrolet El Camino once belonged to Todd. It appeared in Season 5, Episode 6. After being rescued by Walter, Jesse used this car to escape. El Camino means the road in Spanish, which ties perfectly to the movie's theme of Jesse's escape. Sure enough, not long after Jesse leaves, he sees dozens of police cars speeding by. Thanks to Badger's car and Skinny's hat, he successfully avoids capture. Next, There's a flashback that sets the stage for Jesse's subsequent actions. While Jesse was still imprisoned in the dungeon, Todd sneaked him out when Jack and the others were away. Todd warned Jesse not to try to escape, or his girlfriend's child would be in danger. It must be said that Todd has gained the most weight over these 7 years, but this does not affect his performance in the slightest. Todd takes Jesse back to his home, which is located on Holly Street. Coincidentally, Holly is also the name of Walter's daughter. While the neighbors are away, Todd asks Jesse to help him lift the pickup truck's canopy and mount it on top of the pickup truck bed. When Jesse and Todd get to the room, Jesse realizes what they've come for. Todd asks Jesse to help him dispose of a maid's body because Sonia accidentally found money hidden in a book when she was tidying up Todd's room. This is something Todd will not tolerate and decisively strangles Sonia with his belt. This also echoes Todd's final gruesome strangulation by Jesse. The scene shifts back to the present, needing a lot of money to support his escape. Jesse goes to Todd's house to look for the hidden cash. However, the money has already been moved by Todd to another location. Before helping dispose of Sonia's body, Todd had mentioned he was going to relocate the money to another spot in the house. He even boasted confidently that no one would ever find it. Sure enough, Jesse searches for a long time but cannot find the hidden cash. During his search, Jesse notices that the TV in Todd's neighbor's house is playing a news segment featuring an interview with his parents. He quickly turns on Todd's TV to watch. Jesse's parents both want him to turn himself in. This lays the groundwork for Jesse's upcoming actions. The timeline shifts back to the past. With Jesse's help, Todd successfully moves the body. On their way to the outskirts, the remorseless Todd casually sings songs and occasionally greets passing trucks, showing no guilt for his actions. To avoid detection, Todd stuffs Jesse and the body into the truck bed. In a desolate area, Todd manages to bury Sonia's body after much effort from Jesse. Just as they sit down for a smoke, Todd realizes he's out of cigarettes and tells Jesse to grab a pack from the glove compartment. Coincidentally, there is a gun in the glove compartment. This explains why Jesse instinctively took a gun from the glove compartment when he first escaped by car. Jesse takes the gun in hand decisively. In that moment, Jesse is deeply conflicted. He wants to kill Todd to avenge himself but fears he cannot take on Jack and the others. Ultimately, Jesse does not dare to pull the trigger. Jesse was easily persuaded to surrender by Todd with a pizza, which also reflects the long-term enslavement of Jesse has completely lost the courage to fight back. Back in the present, Jesse has turned Todd's house upside down but still hasn't found the stash. In frustration, Jesse bangs his head against the fridge and hears something fall inside. But when he opens the fridge, he finds nothing. Just as he's about to close the fridge door, Jesse notices something in the door's compartment. He pries it open and a wad of cash falls out. Before he can rejoice for even 3 seconds, Jesse sees a shadow outside the window. He quickly closes the fridge. Through the peephole, Jesse sees 2 policemen approaching. Panicking, he hides. At this moment, the nosy neighbor Lou appears. Seeing the mess inside the house, Lou suggests the policeman hire a cleaner. Jesse then had a chance to move to a different position. After sending away Lou, Neil and Casey start searching the place. Soon, Casey discovers Jesse's hiding spot.
I'm no cop killer. And I will be cool. Understand?
Jesse seizes Casey's gun and orders him to call Neil over. Cleverly, Casey uses a code, and Neil senses something is wrong, so he approaches slowly with his gun drawn.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Put your gun down!
Relax, relax.
Put your gun down! Show me your hands!
Everybody relax.
There's something I need. As soon as I get it, I am gone. You let me out of here. I swear I will not hurt this guy.
You know how many officers we got downstairs? Tell him, Casey. Tell him how many.
A good 6 last I counted.
6 my ass. I counted 8 of them down there. A patrol car on all 4 corners, more up the street. They hear shooting. What do you think they're gonna do?
Oh, they're coming up. They're coming up, guaranteed.
That's right. They're coming up. Then how far do you think you're gonna get?
There's only one choice here, buddy. And you know what it is. Come on. Nobody wants to hurt you.
Give up, Pinkman. It's your only chance.
Seeing no way out, Jesse surrenders just as he did with Todd, abandoning resistance. However, when Neil and Casey start tying him up, Jesse realizes he has been tricked. It turns out these two have learned of Todd's death and are impersonating police officers to find the money. Jesse claims he knows where the money is hidden and guarantees Neil and Casey won't find it without him. Hearing this, Neil and Casey stop tying him up. At this moment, the nosy neighbor Lou knocks on the door again, offering his help. To get the money without further trouble, the three of them decide to cooperate. Casey goes out to stall Lou while Jesse takes Neil to the hidden cache.
Holy
What Jesse did next was a bit confusing for Neil. Neil, relying on his gun, tries to get Jesse to leave quickly, intending to keep all the money for himself. But a now clear-headed Jesse doesn't pay any attention to him. He has finally regained his confidence.
Then do it already. Alright, if you pull that trigger, you are gonna have to kill that loudmouth down the hall and every other witness in the place. And you will be as I am.
Realizing Jesse has seen through his bluff, Neil agrees to let Jesse take a third of the money. With the money in hand, Jesse and Neil walk out of the apartment. Jesse demands his gun back, but Neil ignores him. At this moment, Jesse notices the Candy Welding Company sign on their truck, realizing that they are the welders who helped Todd remodel the lab.
I was wondering when you were gonna remember me.
If Jesse had recognized Neil during their standoff, he would have taken all the money and fled by now, but it's too late to think about that. Jesse takes the money he has and goes to find the contact Saul once gave him. Jesse only knows that the guy sells vacuum cleaners and has forgotten the code phrase. Using the information on the map, Jesse arrives at the front of the best quality vacuum cleaner shop. Coincidentally, Jesse sees the red van and rushes to the side to check it out. Jesse realized that the red van was the same one that had picked him up at the intersection. Jesse sees hope, so he goes to the shop and locks the door, then starts trying to say various code words to Ed.
I'm looking for a Hoover Max. Pressure Max, max pressure Hoover, maybe it's a Pro Max. Got like a filter.
Hoover products are right over there on the wall behind you.
Look, I don't remember the exact password.
Seeing the guy won't admit anything, Jesse takes out the money and confesses his deep regret for not going with him the first time. If Jesse had gone with Ed, his life would have taken a different path. Just like our own lives, certain experiences are necessary for growth. Seeing Jesse's determination, Ed admitted his identity but insisted that Jesse pay him for the last job as well. This means Jesse has to come up with $250,000 in one go. Reluctantly, Jesse pulls out all the money he has, even the cash Skinny and Badger gave him. Unfortunately, he is still short by $1,800, but Ed didn't want to give him a discount. He just loaded up Jesse's money and told him to leave. Jesse insists that if Ed doesn't agree, he will stay right there and not leave. Ed had no choice but to call the police.
Hi, yes. There's a young man in my store, and he refuses to leave.
Hey, stop.
Yeah, he might be armed.
Stop me.
Not overtly, but yes, I'm beginning to feel threatened.
Are you serious?
Sure. My name is Ed Galbraith. I own Best Quality Vacuum, 2714 4th Street, Northwest. That's correct.
As Jesse is about to leave, he realizes that Ed might be bluffing, since calling the police wouldn't benefit Ed either. But this time, Jesse miscalculates. He underestimates Ed's principles. Luckily, Ed doesn't betray Jesse. He gives the police false information. After the police leave, Jesse calls back, saying he will make up the $1,800. That evening, Jesse calls his parents. Earlier, while searching for money at Todd's house, Jesse had seen the news interview with his parents. He tells them he is ready to surrender and gives them a location they both know, asking them to come pick him up. Finally, Jesse says his goodbyes to his parents.
I don't know if it'll mean much to you, but you did your best.
And whatever happened with me, it's on me.
Hearing this, the Pinkmans immediately drop what they're doing and rush out. The police officers stationed near the Pinkmans' house also leave with them. Jesse then goes to his parents' house, finds the key hidden in the brickwork, and sneaks inside. He locates their safe but fails to open it a few times. Finally, he uses his brother's birthday and succeeds. Do you think Jesse is there to steal his parents' money? That means you don't know Jesse well enough. He's actually there to take the two guns inside. Jesse then tracks down the address for Candy Welding Company. He is ready to settle the score with Neil and Casey. Unfortunately, Neil and Casey, flush with cash, are seeking some special services. To avoid complications, Jesse patiently waits for the right moment. During this time, Jesse recalls when he was imprisoned. It was Neil from Candy Welding Company who remodeled the lab for Todd and the others, chaining him like a dog to a track. In order to test the strength of the weld, Neil and Casey even bet Jesse to test it himself, which is Jesse's humiliating history. Now, the opportunity for revenge has arrived. When the service was over, Jesse walked into the room single-handedly and said he only wanted 1,800. When Neil sees that Jesse is holding an antique gun from years ago, he and the others can't help but laugh at him. Casey firmly refuses to give the money, but he's immediately intimidated by Neil's demeanor before he can finish his sentence. Neil proposes a Western-style duel with Jesse, with the winner taking all the money. This is exactly what Jesse anticipated, and it's the reason he brought 2 guns. From the things Jesse did after he escaped, it's like we see Mike in him. He's no longer the same Jesse who was crying his eyes out with his IQ down. The outcome is clear. Neil is quickly taken down by the hidden gun in Jesse's pocket, and Casey, trying to retaliate, is shot in the head by Jesse. This scene is a homage to Walter's revenge against Jack. Jesse then takes the driver's licenses of the other 3 and tells them to keep their mouths shut. Afterwards, he takes all the money. As he leaves, he ignites their welding tanks. With a dazzling explosion, Jesse is reborn. Here, we also see a bit of Walter and Jesse, as this is a typical Walter move. The next flashback is one of the most touching moments for fans. The timeline is from Season 2, Episode 9, where Walter and Jesse are out in the desert, cooking up contraband. Due to Jesse's mistake, they almost get stranded in the wilderness. They are only saved when Walter constructs a battery. During this time, Walter and Jesse agree to find a hotel to rest up. This scene was not filmed in the previous episodes and was eventually shown in the film version. Jesse makes a date with his girlfriend Jane over the phone, then knocks on Walter's door across the hall. Fans are thrilled to see this familiar RV again, feeling like it's a holiday celebration. Due to the dehydration from being stranded in the desert, Jesse gobbles down fruit to regain his strength. Walter is still in bad shape due to his condition. Jesse even went as far as the waiter's water bottle to stay hydrated. Walter then asked Jesse how long it would take to sell off this batch of contraband. Jesse estimates at least 6 months. Hearing this, Walter is disappointed. Feeling he won't live that long, Jesse promises Walter that he will give Walter's share of all the money to Walter's family even if Walter is no longer there. Walter trusts Jesse completely. Walter then asks Jesse about his plans, suggesting he go to college, but Jesse replies that he has a high school diploma and doesn't need to go to college. Seeing he can't persuade Jesse, Walter doesn't press further. Next, Walter expressed his envy towards Jesse. He envied Jesse's luck, saying he didn't have to wait a lifetime to achieve something great. This was also Walter's way of expressing his regret about his own life, lamenting that he only got to truly spread his wings at the end of his life. The scene then shifts to Jesse being taken to his dream destination of Alaska by Ed. The place is a frozen, sparsely populated land. Ed also arranged a completely new identity for Jesse. Jesse asked Ed to mail a letter for him. From the signature on the letter, it is clear that it's for his girlfriend Andrea's child, Brock. It's likely that Jesse also left some money for Brock. Then Jesse drives off in the car Ed prepared for him, embarking on a brand new life. Sadly, Robert Forster, who played Ed, passed away from cancer on the day the film was released, making this his final work. The scene then flashes back to when Jesse was in love with Jane, and Jane's words serve as a summary of Jesse's life.
I've gone where the universe takes me my whole life. It's better to make those decisions for yourself.
If Jesse had understood these words earlier, perhaps his life would have been easier. That way, he could have distanced himself from all the major villains sooner and started a new life. Fortunately, Jesse got a chance to start over, and he emerged from all the shadows of his past. In contrast to the timid and cowardly Jesse from before, the Jesse who endured so much hardship has gained maturity and steadiness. Watching this, do you recall your own younger self? Do you feel a sense of empathy when comparing it to who you are now? This is also the most important message of the film, giving Jesse from Breaking Bad a complete and fulfilling ending.